Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call our meeting in order for May 21st, 2026, the SILC quarterly meeting. And we will start with roll call right now for the moment as we wait for our executive director to come in by way of public transportation. My name is Robert Mendes Newell. I am the chair. And
I'm Angie Whitehurst, and I am the administrative assistant.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brittany Tarver. I'm the project manager here at RSA.
Good morning, folks. Ivy Bullock, member.
Yvonne Z. Smith, member.
Edward Dana, community advocate.
Kim Bellamy, member.
Heidi Case, community advocate, a member of both LGBT and disability communities.
okay, and those that are on the Zoom, could you identify yourself?
LaKenya Pitchford, board member.
Dr. Shannon Austin on the call. Glad to be on the call.
Glad to hear you. Thank you. Is there anybody else on the Zoom? That's it. Okay, I will read over the agenda. Item number 1, call to order, Robert Mendes Newell. Introduction to special guests. They are Dr. Shannon Austin, RSA director, and Heidi Kasek, our advocate, community advocate. Roll call. Review agenda, chair. Review previous March 19, 2026 meeting minutes by the chair. Item 6, executive director summary report, Denise Henry Bush. 7, chair summary report, Robin D. Mendes Newell. 8, recruitment report, Brittany Tyler, project manager, DDS and RSA. 9 is old business, 10 is new business, 11 is announcements, and 12 is adjournment by Robin D. Mendes Newell, chair. And since we're still waiting for our executive director, Ms. Denise, we were discussing, she wanted us to go over the bylaws where you are having issues, where you would like to make suggestions or changes. And we'd like to hear from our treasurer, Yvonne Smith, first, for your suggestions, because we're now on being recorded.
Okay, my only
Can
suggestion.
you speak up so they can hear you?
My suggestion now is that for changes to the meetings, quarterly meetings, that we give 30 days notice. If we're changing the setup so that people can make adjustments for transportation and other things. Emergency meetings, I can understand that it's an emergency, it's gonna be short notice. But also that if it's an emergency meeting, that the chair or someone or the administrative person attempt to make a telephone call in addition to the 7-day limit, because everybody does not check their emails like that, or they have internet service. So that would be my only change.
That's it, seems agreeable. And your other suggestion?
There's no need, no police.
Because of the law.
Hello? And your other suggestion?
No, I tabled the suggestion because my colleague over here said that the reason why you have the youth summit in bylaws is because it's required. So I stand down my objection to that. I just wanted to make sure that the bylaw did not preclude us from having other interest groups that might appear, and that we don't have to have that in bylaw. But he explained to me that it's a requirement because of the Rehab Act. So my objection to that, I stand down.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Yvonne Smith, treasurer. Ms. Ivy Bullock, you have made suggestions, but
I don't have my paper.
I know it was highlighted, but I can't remember either. Because my computer is being shared with our visual.
And I thought my computer had power in it, but you could pass by, I come back.
Did anyone else present here in the room have any other suggestions or changes to the bylaw? Edward?
I just wanted to confirm that, we are gonna be including, different entities and encouraging more people on the board that represent, transitional age youth facilities that provide those services. People with disabilities are receiving services from transitional youth services. So it's important that we represent those people too. And I have those leaders, of those providers, attend these meetings. It would be very important.
So what you're requesting is to notify them or to have them mention all that list mentioned in the bylaws? I want to be clear on what you suggest, because the thing is, they say other entities and stakeholders.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would cover all of those.
Yeah, because they haven't been involved, even though that we handed them flyers, we handed executive directors, who are in charge of different, providers, provide services within the district. And I don't think anyone, from the flyers that we have distributed has contacted Darnice or Robin, and with their interest in being a part of SILC.
Thank you, Edward. Heidi Case?
So what I hear you saying is more policy versus changing the bylaws, because I think we're covered in the bylaws with the other entities. But I hear you suggesting a policy kind of thing where we be more proactive. But the only thing goes back to something Yvonne says, if you put in the bylaws, they have to be here and they don't want to, don't do it, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
So I hear your desire, and I think it's important that we be more inclusive. But that sounds like work some of us need to do to make sure those people get invited, maybe by phone call or direct.
Yeah,
Madam Chair,
I
Yeah,
agree. Thank you.
thank you, Heidi.
Madam Chair, I think that, one of the things that's important is that's why minutes are important. And this discussion is important. And so I think that, we can have so that future SILCs can review the minutes of that discussion about the bylaws. So they have the sense of why it was there, and that should be not part of the bylaws, but could be incorporated in training for new board members. So people can have an understanding that even though we might be silent to different entities, because things might change. I.e., for example, new Americans, because of the big beautiful bill, some people may feel as though they shouldn't be included, but we may, because of the makeup of our city, decide they were just as LGBT. So I think that what Heidi was saying, what the public was saying, and as a member, is that the minutes on the discussion about the bylaws should be included in the training, so that future SILCs will get the understanding that we're not excluding other people. And that was my initial reason for wanting to cut that out, but I understand now. I think
She wanted the youth, how we mentioned the youth in the bylaws. She didn't know that it was required to be mentioned in the bylaws. So just part of the law. It's part of the law.
I understand that. I said that I understand that it's part of the law, but I wanted to make sure that other entities weren't taken out. I think having the future people get the minutes of the discussion of the bylaws, that will make it so people understand that we're not excluding.
This is Darnice. I'd like to make a comment. I'm the executive director of the SILC. What you're all saying is already known pretty much. It appears in the federal law. One of the reasons that we don't list everybody as a stakeholder or partner. For one thing, the SILC is cross disability. That includes all the disabilities. And it's very diverse. It includes all the disabilities and diversity in whatever area you're in. And the other thing is that people of any of our stakeholder partners, anybody that has a disability or agency or anything, is welcome to partner with us, and they know that, especially in the disability community in the district, because we don't have, congressional representation. So we often partner with other, other companies, other, private and public, to get our mission across, our policies across. We cooperate and work out all of our trainings and all of that, so that they are inclusive if people so choose. The one thing that they don't do is allow people to vote. You only vote if you're a member, but you're allowed to serve on subcommittees. You're allowed to work on projects and provide your comments. So, and most people know that.
Well, the only reason why I say that is because of the situation we're in now, wherein certain people congressionally, they want to exclude certain groups. So even though we are very inclusive, that's why I say that I want the minutes to be the minutes of discussion on the bylaws, especially this discussion, because at some future time, and it might be near future with what we have going on now, just like the big beautiful bill, there may be people that would decide to exclude people from bodies like this because maybe they're not a U.S. citizen or because they're members of other marginalized communities. So that's the only reason why I said that, because that handled my objection, because what would happen is that future SILCs would have a sense that we're very inclusive, even if the powers that be decide to exclude certain things. And I agree with you about the youth and all that. Like I said, I have to stand that down. I'm just saying that I would recommend that somewhere that's a policy thing, that's how you're saying, that maybe we can incorporate that into the training. If that's not a discussion for the bylaws, something was for something else.
Well, we're actually working on the policy manual, as you know, so that we can highlight that in the policy manual.
Okay.
Because it's already in the policy manual that these entities can serve on the subcommittees. So we'll make sure that we include that, so that people will know that they're inclusive.
Be inclusive regardless of what might
Well,
happen.
it's actually the law, and they really can't change the federal law. I mean, they can, but
Well, we have people in power now that do a lot of things that we didn't think it was possible.
Right, like.
So,
well, we didn't, but
So I'm
we
just,
can always take them to court.
Yeah, we can sure.
that takes time and money.
I know, it's like another decade.
Yeah. We are sort of a little defensive, defenseless, because the mayor has admitted that she's leaving, and because she's leaving, the boards and commissions is not approving people at this time. A lot of different things.
Because we have a new mayor.
Hold up.
So we sort of look at
We're
that.
gonna have a mayor in January.
Yeah, so
Get out,
long
we're gonna make
tell
it
us
easy.
new mayor. Long
Madam
time.
Chair, can I suggest we get discussion on this? I make a motion in discussion. Let's get further.
I just want to say thank you, Janice, for saying it can be in the policy manual. So that helps me understand. Thank you.
And I just wanna say that the main, input I had for the bylaw was the language. The verbiage. That the bill will probably lean toward. That's all, I don't have my computer. But just some of
Any examples?
Well, what I can remember, some of the language that whoever drafted it, it was not elaborated enough to define, to make the whole content of the paragraph.
Section,
To make it clarify. Authoritative. And the nature of what a bylaw would be for a state entity. It just wasn't true. From my history of being on different boards,
Well,
members of.
I have a copy. Would you like to review it and we can get back to you before the meeting's over?
Yeah,
because it seems important.
But you also want to explain what bylaws are. Those are the rules that, organizations is run on. So for example, if the silk was, if the silk was sued, if the silk was sued, they would want to see, the lawyers would want to see bylaws. So that's our rules of operation.
And to maintain.
Let me say one other thing. Because we're doing bylaws can always be changed.
What's
You need it, and the bylaws actually indicate how we can make our change.
how many votes
With
should be?
2/3.
2/3, it might be, it's like, if you have problems with attendance, for example, it might be the part change.
Well, they may not be able to do it in one setting, but they need to be a little difficult, because people would be changing them almost every week. But it can be done.
That's why I
Once
want
it's
to be
voted,
not specific.
once it's voted on, that's it.
No,
That's not.
They can be changed, but it.
they can be changed and they can be updated.
But how long to make someone up and be?
We can decide.
And yeah,
You can
there's
do
no
one, you can say
limitation on that.
annually, then they can be reviewed 2 years, I mean, it's up to the group. I recommend that, at least once every 3 years.
It'd be
But it
reviewed.
can be more, at least once.
I mean, reviewed.
Yeah,
It'd be reviewed.
so I mean,
And I just, may I say
Yeah.
something, Madam?
Heidi,
That just to give credence to the fact that this is, you have submitted bylaws repeatedly,
Yeah.
gotten other people's feedback. They're part of why you made some of the changes, because they weren't approved, and you went back and you tried again, and they gave. So it's been a very long process, and there's been a lot of, and required to get it approved. You got a lot of feedback from the entities, so I just wanna thank you all that you've been that persistent. I think you've done a great
I
job.
think Robert,
Kept
let you know,
working
we've been
on
working 2 years, 2 years is a long
So
time.
y'all done great, and you should be commended for it.
So if if you really feel that what you're saying is not included there, I mean, this is
I gotta look
basically.
where he
It's well,
first sent to
Yeah.
the way I.
We have a long way to
See, you're-
No, because we actually gonna approve these, because we need to move on.
Yeah.
So the next thing would be, next thing would probably not
Well,
this
the
year.
policy check so that we can become more inclusive.
Yeah, I mean, that can be reviewed and changed and updated.
So policies is key.
Because we need to move on because we wanna become a 501c3.
Well,
So we want to have our
You
bylaws
have to have.
pretty much in place of how we wanna proceed, so that we can make progress.
well, this is why I
Because we'll
said,
have
Madam Chair, I would like to end the discussion. That's why I made that motion.
Well, she did have a comment, so.
Yeah.
I'm at the end of that, so.
I mean, you said you have to move on. I'm trying to help.
You
us
can make
move
this
on.
motion then after the discussion about.
Well, sometimes
We can end.
people don't understand what bylaws are. So that's the discussion.
Well, they should, because we've been sending stuff back and forth, and everybody in here seems to be knowledgeable, and the people on screen, hopefully.
To me, well, how I understand bylaws, it's like our governing, abiding by the word that governs us. That we have to stay in those things to be in compliance with all that we are in a part of, with all the entities we attach to in the units of terms. Since it's not yet state with the DC government, but we have to remember with the country, with the nickel, we have to make sure that we're in compliance with all of them in line, ACL, all, DBS.
Is there
Or
anything,
rehabilitation.
is there anything in the bylaws that says something like how we hold meetings? That if it's
Yeah.
silent,
It is in there.
if it's silent, we use Robert's Rules of Order or
Yes,
something like that.
it is in there.
Both of those items.
Okay.
Those items are in there. It's just that what has happened is we haven't done the final printout of it to format it, so there is spaces. So that's why it's so lengthy in
That's
your,
why we're asking.
in your email. That's why we wanted to give you space to look at it, so that if you have printed it out, that you could make your, highlight it and so forth. So I want to move on into.
That's why I said, can we end the
Yeah.
discussion? I
Yeah,
make a
okay.
motion to end the discussion if the,
We're
other
gonna say,
member is satisfied.
we're gonna save Ivy's comment in, new business, okay? Okay, about the bylaws. I am now gonna read the, Minutes of our last quarterly meeting, Thursday, March 19, 2026, quarterly meetings was held at the DC Statewide Independent Living Council, 260 East Street, Southwest Washington, DC, in room 145. Meeting opened at 10:30 a.m. by Chair Robin D. Mendes New. Special guest introduction of Dr. Shannon Austin and Heidi Case. Self-introduction by attendees was Kathy Freeman White, Vice President in the Zoom, Brittany Stuckey, member in the Zoom, Dr. Austin, RSA Director, was present. Brittany Tarver, DDS and RSA Project Manager. Angie Winehurst, community attendee, and at that time she was introduced as our administrative assistant. Robin G. Mendes, new chair. Heidi Case, community attendee. Kim Bellamy, member. Donise Henry Bush, executive director. Dr. Damon Johnson Jr., DSC, DSS, RSA liaison. Alexander Edward Dana, community advocate. Richard Sims, executive director, DC Center Independent Living. LaKenya Pitchford, member in the Zoom. Ivy Bullock, member in the Zoom. Chair introduced meeting agenda January 15, 2026, and read it out loud. Chair presented the public meeting summary for the quarterly meeting that was held on January 15, 2026, with 6 items. Chair motion for acceptance of minutes, Brittany Tarver. Second the motion, voted approved to be entered into the record. Executive Director Henry Bush reported program funding approved and shared that she is looking forward to working with us and sharing into the free app for nonprofit for Microsoft. Yeah, recommendations to website. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, thank you, Heidi. I was trying to say, where to go? Need to app integration and set up home and HP devices. Plan to hire administrative assistant. Bylaws are still pending and waiting for review, editing, and approval by members. VOA collaborators. Upcoming events. LaKenya, emergency preparedness, July 27th, 2026 at 1 to 4 p.m. at the Arena Stage. For info of Robin Mendes New, Viva, LaKenya Pitchford at the DC 7. Wellness classes will commence in May and are funded by the Cerro Foundation of Maryland, September 26th. DC will participate in the site walk as it relates to the ADA April 29th conference at the MLK Library. Kathy House is supporting the event will be held at the Anacostia Library, awaited to confirm the dates. LaKenya. DC SILC will be adding another support group for the wheelchair users, which will be headed by our interim, our intern, from American University, and will be looking forward to recruiting consumers in wheelchairs and power chairs. Discussion from the meeting attendees. Chairman Robin Mendes will requested PBI planning for the annual youth summit. Funds are approved and planning can move forward, preparing website and print materials needed. Executive Director Donise, we are seeking suggestions from three vendors for our own website. Brittany Tarver, Program Manager, DDS, RSA Project Manager, update. The Moda hasn't gotten back to me yet. The process to set up interviews were delayed because of our government shutdown. Request applicants to be sent up. New business. Executive Director Denise Bush introduced Angie Winehurst as Administrative Assistant. Angie Winehurst, Administrative Assistant, shared that she's looking forward to working with us and shared into information on free app for nonprofits from Microsoft and recommended a website designer. Whole business announcements. Members in agreement with Robin discussed that plan to contact WAMATA
Ramada, I think that's a
Ramada.
typo.
Vermont, thank you, personal, to resolve the insufficient bus, rail, and metro access service to citizens of the District of Columbia. Following up will be discussed at the next meeting. Edward was concerned about one of the DC Public Library's ADA family restrooms, recent changes in the restroom policies. Donnie suggested to bring these complaints to the City Council, Public Safety Committee, and work.
Again, that's
Vermont,
miss.
yeah. AC committee with date, time, locations we will discuss this further in the next meeting. Meeting adjourned by Robert T. Mendes Newell. The note taken was taken by our administrative assistant, Angie Whitehurst.
I make a motion to accept the minutes of the chair.
We have accepted.
I want to amend it, put in corrections, they still in there.
There is,
Acceptable, accepting, I accept that. Is there a second?
Is the first, the second, a second?
Can I second?
No.
I'm not a min, okay,
Yes.
just check.
Campbell. Yeah. Okay,
Take vote.
and can we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Nice, have it. We make the corrections and then it will be entered into the record. Okay,
And you need to see Ms. Whitehurst
Robin.
about your correction.
Robin, do you mind speaking up a little bit, please?
oh, okay.
We want to make sure that.
LaKenya, was you able to hear me? Hello?
Yes, I was able to hear you.
Okay, thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is the executive director's summary report. Donnie's Bush and Bush.
Basically, one of the two biggest things are still pending, and that is bylaws. And thank you for all of your input, because we're gonna take the input from this meeting and close out the bylaws. The next time you see them, they will be perfect, but please pretend they're perfect, so that we can vote and pass them. And, as soon as we make the, additions, we will send them out. We're not gonna wait until the next meeting. We wanna have all that stuff done before then. So if, by chance it's something that you wanna know, that you didn't add, please forward that to Ms. Whitehurst, by the end of next week, which would be what?
The end of next week,
The
the 29th.
Is her email on our correspondence?
No,
So what is the email?
yeah, we're in the process of being assigned, so
Okay.
send it, forward it to me. Darnice
Bush and Yahoo.
dot Bush at yahoo.com. If you wanna make a comment or verbal comment, always call 202-381-7930. That's my cell.
I think we took it there. Okay, there shouldn't be any comments after.
Yeah, and also at the same time, we're also working on policy. So if you have suggestions for that. Yeah. Because most of the things, most of the crucial things or most important things in the bylaws will also be included in the policy.
So who's writing the policy?
The executive person,
Who is the
and which includes you. All of our members are supposed to be.
executive committee? Okay.
Yeah, this is not news. Most of our members know that they're supposed to be providing input.
This is for the benefit of non-members and for the minutes. I think it's important that
We repeat that.
that we
It's
put
been-
that in the minutes, that the executive committee and the consultation board are working.
And with the help of the full membership, so that's everybody.
Okay.
Ms. Donnie, would you mention that your cell number again?
It's 202-381-7930.
Thank you.
My email is Darnice, all lowercase, DARNISE period, bush@yahoo.com. And then one of the holdups, as I mentioned this now, is that, we are getting assistance from, DDS to establish a temporary website right now that's, for use in the internet, because right now, we can't access the internet as a group. We can only do it individually, and that is one of the biggest holdups. And one of the reasons, the 2-year wait. So, we plan to make some progress. We'll put it that way. Okay. Yeah. Because we have been, our spiel has been, we submitted a spiel several times. And we have to, make the final corrections before the end of this month, which is right now. So that's it. So, Robin, Damon, I, and Ms. Whitehurst have been working on it because we have, provided the information before at least 2 times in longhand. And they want us to now put it again on the, on an automated system, which is now working again, as we understand. And so, and we want to thank the membership for being patient. And because we had submitted them in, longhand, they told us that we could, actually spend some of our money. So we've been trying to work on that and work on our budget. The next thing that, is coming up now is Nickel will be having a conference, and you have the dates and stuff for that. The Nickel, Robin will share that information with us. Hold on, please. Then let me see what else. Also, and it's also time for us to work on, that Consumer Forum and Youth Summit. It's been recommended that we use October 16th. Okay. I think it's the third Thursday and Friday, or the 4th Thursday and Friday in October.
For the 27th,
Yeah.
which is a Thursday.
Oh, and then it's the opposite. And the second one would be the 3rd, so I reversed. Recommended is the 4th, and the follow-up is the 3rd. Is that right?
Nope, I was wrong, Dad. This is me.
Okay.
The first choice is the 15th, which is a Thursday. And then there's also the 22nd, which is a Thursday. So between the 15th and 22nd of October were the choices. Now, I can't remember which one was the first. But the 15th and the 22nd are our choices, and I guess it depends on the hotel.
Right, and then 2 choices for that, and one is the Washington Plaza or the Kellogg's. So, depending on that venue, the venue's availability, which one we will go with. We would like to go with the Washington Plaza because they've always treated us nice and been very fair about the cost. Our only problem in terms of the cost and is the payment. And they always want to be paid ahead of time. And that's anything. That's not just it's not the Washington Plaza, yeah. But the Kellogg's Center is more familiar with government purchases. So, they're more used to contract. And sometimes they give you a little leeway, but everybody wants their money in advance. And unfortunately, the policy in DC government is, we want your merchandise first. So, takes a little negotiating.
So that's how about accessibility, all the other things being equal, what is that? I mean, Kellogg's and Washington Plaza, and that's just.
I prefer the Washington Plaza because of the location. It's accessible by Metro bus right there up Thomas Circle, and it's a one-level building.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when I have gone to the Kellogg's building by myself by bus, that I had to walk up that steep hill to get to the Kellogg's building because that shuttle bus doesn't come like every 10 minutes. It's coming from Union Station. Their school shuttle bus that brings you there. So it's a steep hill to walk up, and depending on what time of the year, that's an inconvenience to me.
Yeah, and also it depends on their policy about letting non-students, house. Use their shop.
Yeah.
My experience at the Kellogg also, to get between it and a Metro, there's a lot of sidewalk problem.
Yeah,
And that's not
that's
accessible
my
either,
chair,
where your Washington Plaza is different, so.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that's.
But we'll aim for the Washington,
Well, that's why at the beginning, so important is if someone's side, guesses the thing is that that's the preferred one because of accessibility and the understanding of it.
And the other thing. Sad brain fog.
So you're gonna include what's gonna be some of the program.
What I wanted to say is, I don't know whether all the members and the people here know, but the Youth Summit and Consumer Forum is a shared project. It's an annual project, and it's a collaboration between DC Center, the Statewide Independent Living Council, and the Department on Disability Services. So we co-share the costs. We co-share, it's like 1/3, each covering the hotel and the food, all of that. But which is usually not a problem. I hope it won't be a problem this year. I don't think so. We usually get along pretty well. And if somebody has less money at one time, the others make it up. So we'll see.
Can I get to those events, 3 times now, 4 times?
Yeah. The other thing is I wanted to say, I wanted to make sure for the youth that we include something that's very important about moving forward, that they have something when they get away from school, if they don't want to go to college, that we have something that would interest them, or present something that would interest them, and like a vocational skill or something like that, and where they can go for that. And then, in terms of the consumer forum, I want to include something on housing. I think Kathy is working with that. And, Kenya is working with the emergency plans.
Yeah, the housing, because of Kathy not getting the information, she's adding it into the summit. And the emergency preparedness, Kenya's going to give us an update, and Kathy is on. So when we get to whole business, they can mention, because I just saw Kathy come on.
Okay, and let me see.
I gotta speak on the nickel. Yeah, nickel this year, the theme is protect, persist, and prosper for the 2026 annual conference on independent living. It is held July 20th to the 23rd, 2026, Grand Hyatt Hotel, Washington, DC, presented by the National Nickel on Independent Living. What's new, the volunteer opportunities. They're looking for volunteers. I had received a recent email that if you volunteer under 10 hours, they will reimburse you partial payment on your registration fee. And if you work over 10 hours, they will cover your whole registration fee on the reimbursement, so you have to pay ahead. And
But that's only for individuals, it doesn't cover,
Yeah.
organizational.
Yeah.
Registration.
as individuals, when you register individually. And, they have called for accuracy award nominations. Deadline date is June 5th, 2026. They have programs for the keynote speaker. If you wanted to see the bio, you can go to their website, and you can see the highlight of each of the keynote speakers that will speak.
So the deadline to vote on the keynote?
No, for awards, if you want to nominate somebody for advocacy award.
Yeah, and it's, it's based on your region. We're region 3, so.
Do we have any scholarships for, SILC members to attend?
No, not at this time. Because we're only covering,
How much is the ticket?
it's 3,
It's $350.
yeah, unless you work 10 hours.
It's an organization, yes.
You have to pay ahead, and then they will reimburse you if you are volunteer. If you're not volunteer, you have to obtain full coverage. I do know that attending it, being physically there, that you can pay in person by the day. Or if you just want to come on the day of the banquet is not going to be on a Wednesday, it's going to be Tuesday. The outline for the rally to march to Capitol Hill, it is all in detail. And they will have training prior to that on the schedule, if you look it up in the email, if you have desire to do so.
And you have to make your own reservation at, on Capitol Hill with, your congressional,
When you want to speak
prior to that date, if you want to.
You mean Eleanor?
Yeah.
So the thing
Or
is,
else it would be, I don't know.
and they list the person to contact if you want to make that, if you're having a hard time to get to that person to make that date and time. So you have to look at the schedule of when the march is and what time they're going to arrive at there, but you better make that appointment and secure it with your representative.
Okay, so how do I secure a ticket? You have to pay them.
You have to go on,
$350.
you have to go on the
I
nickel.
don't know what they charge.
The nickel website.
The nickel
website. NCIL.org.
Unless DDS pays for you.
That's
You sure?
Well.
Can somebody
Yes.
have access?
It's the only
let me
challenge
say-
is the budget, I think. They will.
Let me say DDS, it has been, usually, they only pay for the chair and then there are 2 people.
I see.
So that.
And that includes the chair.
You're like an individual at 350. Doesn't matter.
So then. how
But
long
if
is
you
this
wanna,
event?
if you wanna volunteer
Here for them.
10 hours
Yeah. I
of
can
the
do that.
conference time,
Then I can.
you have to make that, you have to do that with them.
Yeah.
Directly nickel.org.
Oh, so I have to.
So you call
have to-
Then you
nickel.org.
have to pay ahead.
You have
and
to
then they'll
pay ahead,
reimburse
and
you,
then they
because they
reimburse you.
want to know you actually did the hour.
Yeah, because we have to pay for the organization.
Can you tell me what NICL stands for again?
National Center for
Independent living.
Okay, so it's,
So SIL is cities, SILC is state, what this is, and nickel is the national. For the same organism.
Independent living
okay.
for their, acronym.
And I wanna mention that, DC Center has two specialists, disability specialists that will be providing a program. There will be, workshop chairs. Miss,
The Kenyan.
Kenya Pitchford and Brittany Stuckey.
Yeah, I'm not a specialist though. Brittany is the specialist. I'm the director of independent living services. Just to get that out. Thanks.
I remember the past years going.
What about this, vendor or exhibitor?
And
An
something
exhibitor.
changed about what women, what'd you say?
I remember for many years, I went to the nickel conferences and I don't know how it was paid or whatever else, and something changed.
Well, the only thing that's changed this time is we are reorganized. And so we feel that since we are reorganizing, we're getting more familiar, we need to have our chair and the people that are in authority, like the executive director or secretary or whatever, take advantage of these training things that are represented by the,
No,
Yeah.
what I'm asking is,
so we only have enough to pay for two.
what I'm saying is, do we have more in the past? Cause I went,
Yeah, we had more in the past.
we had more money. Is that what you're
We
saying?
had more money and we were more organized. We were reorganized.
So what has to happen, and I can be for a separate conversation, was to have more representation. For the next
You have to do it individually, because that's what I've done too.
Yeah, I'll just.
And I pay it as an individual person,
But like.
but I also pay as the organization for the organization.
But what about
We don't
having an
have all of
exhibit?
that money, man.
What about having an exhibit for outreach at this location?
They have requested it, if you wanna do outreach and all of that,
They're not-
you have to
That's just for
You
now.
have to do that, you have to make that arrangement with Nickel, their permission, they charge. They charge you for
It's not a good use of our time to
Well,
have
then it's
someone
not gonna.
deal with people from all over the country. I don't think that's a good use of that. Maybe some other event that has other disability people
More centered
specifically
in
for our
DC.
area, yeah.
Yeah, not national. Okay,
Well, we still have to pay, I mean, we have to pay for our organization because we have to pay
They're trying to
organization.
pay
And we have
to
to pay
uh,
our individual dues, and when is it?
Is
Because
it
we
one?
already missed the early bird.
is it gonna be?
You trying to, I may be quoting the wrong amount for the registration fee because I think it went up to $100.
And it is for.
That's because early bird was $350.
Yeah,
But
that's
we
what it was.
passed the early bird.
What
Yeah,
is-
past the early
where
bird
does
has
this money
passed.
The early bird was May first.
Yeah.
It was May first.
It goes all the way to Nickel?
Yes,
Yeah.
because it's there. It is the nickel
their
conference.
Okay, so then what do they use the money for? For
They
their
have,
own
the
commission?
nickel, I used to be on one of the.
They
training.
They training,
Okay.
Advocacy, and there's multiple,
Workshops.
there are multiple groups that work all year long. Because when I was a chairperson of a thing on the nickel, when they decided to disband mental health, is that there's maybe 15, 20 committees that meet every month. And they have, they have policy things. Because what happens at the nickel conference, they're going up to lobby Capitol Hill. I mean, and that's gonna be a very important thing going forward for, this new Congress that we hope that we'll get. So basically, all year long, the individual committees are working on things and they have staff. And they have staff that are up there on the hill every single day.
that's true.
So the staff that's there, along with other people that are like the committee chairs, they know people in the committee, because there's different committees that cover different things that are of interest to us. And the thing about it is you cannot have somebody coming in one year that new. You have to have a long-term relationship. I went to something, I was surprised. It came up to me and asked me, am I going to something January 4th? June 4th, they have it on the Hill, but they had seen me up there before. So the congressperson, or senator itself, they may not be knowledgeable about it, but there's a staff person that's assigned to that thing in the Congress, and then the nickel staff has developed a relationship with them over months and years. So they can pick up the telephone and say, this bill is going forward. Nickel is not on board with that.
Right, and the thing about it is they actually, at each conference, they update the policies and things that they want us all to discuss in unison. And they give you like a pamphlet so that you can study it.
Well, I was answering his question about what does nickel do with the money.
Yeah.
They are the strong advocacy arm for the disabled, stronger.
And I sent you there, and what I just emailed you.
The link.
Yeah, so you can tap it.
Sure enough.
in the
I'm a
history.
little upset that it's $400, so I'll volunteer so I can get my reimbursement.
You need to, you have to
Only
put
You
that
have
out
to
to
call,
them
you have to call, you still have to pay that ahead.
And
You
plus you
can-
have to get their
You
permission.
call them,
No, you have
Because
to,
you're
you
not an
have to
individual
call.
member.
but I'm coming as representation for SILC, right?
No.
Yeah, but
no.
you're not really a member. You're
The
not
only
really a member, so
representation
you're
for the
going as an
citizen is
individual
the
advocate. You're going as an individual advocate.
So
So
have-
and you're not a member of Nickel. So if you're not a member of
So
Nickel
I'll
and
come
you're
with-
not
I'll
a
come
member
as
of the
BDS
SILC,
employee
then
you have to call them
You
then.
have to
yourself.
pay.
Go for that and do the whole process.
Yeah.
and you still have to pay.
Yeah, you have to
I
call.
think this is a discussion for after the meeting,
Yes.
because we're gonna run long, but you can come
I
and
don't think we need any more discussion about
On the nickel, but we have to get
it.
to.
I don't think we need any more.
I'm saying,
So. Yeah, you just need to call Nickel or go online
Yeah, call them.
and look up ncil.org.
I just gave it to them. I just
Thank
emailed
you.
it. Okay.
One thing,
but I urge people to become members in that.
before we close out, I would,
I'm not gonna. vote.
invite, Brittany or LaKenya to briefly tell us of what their workshop would be about then.
I'm not sure if Brittany's on. I can't tell, but our workshop will be on. It's a workspace. I think it's the only workspace instead of the lecture format. So our workshop will be on advocacy. I can't remember our theme name because I don't have the stuff in front of me. But the gist of we're in groups, and the whole thing is providing advocacy barriers and allowing the audience to come up with solutions, talking about how to go about advocacy steps and things of that nature. So it's a working space, interactive space. I'm not sure the day of the workshop, but you can have on the Nickel website is the agenda and all the workshops for each day. And so you will find the name of the workshop on that particular day as you look and see which workshops you want to do. I will hope that you guys visit our workshop that day. I can actually send Robin and Darnice, just to make it easier, the name of the workshop and the day that we're doing the workshop. I do, while I'm speaking, because I'm actually heading out of town, if it's okay for me to do an update on the disaster preparedness because the time has changed. Do I have room to do it now? Okay, so the date is the same, July 27th at the arena stage, but it's from 12 to 3. We will have refreshments in the beginning before the event starts. We're hoping to at least have 60 participants. A flyer will be done by June 1st, and I will get that flyer out to the SILC, and so they can disseminate that to any stakeholders, partners, so we can have a good turnout. So I just wanted to make that correction for the time.
It's free.
It is free.
And
is it accessible? It was something about the accessibility.
It is. I made sure that the room that they're using at the arena stage is accessible, and it is. From the outside, yes, from the outside going to the inside of the building, it is accessible. If there will be a QR code on the flyer to fill out a Google form for us to keep track of who's going. And then, of course, if you need any help, feel free to call the DC Center for Independent Living for assistance.
And ask for who?
LaKenya.
LaKenya Pittsburgh.
And you want to share a phone number?
Yes. You can call on my direct line at 202-280-6890. That number will also be on the flyer for assistance if you need, someone to help you fill out the Google form.
And your wellness, course.
Oh, and the wellness course, that is not, you can just cancel that. I have not heard back from the lady to get this all started, so I apologize. That might be postponed later on in the year or next year.
To be determined.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, have a safe travel.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, going on into our agenda item.
I only have one other thing that I want to say in terms of the summary of my report. We are we are receiving assistance from Dr. Shannon Austin to expedite our Wi-Fi. And Wi-Fi and internet
In this
site and email site.
email.
So hopefully then when we meet in 2 months, we will have a little stake in the game again.
It's July. The
Yeah,
second,
hopefully by then.
second Thursday or when, which?
It's the third, isn't it the third Thursday?
It's the third Thursday.
Third Thursday, okay.
That date, just to be
Da-
clear. is-
Darnese, this is Dr.
Yeah.
Austin. I gave the approval and Damon has submitted for you guys to get emails with us. So we're just waiting on, for IT to move forth. And if anything needs to be triaged, since Damon is out of town, I'll work with them to kind of push that through. So it's moving forward, ma'am.
Oh, well, thank you so
Thank you.
much. Even with a broken leg, I'm just thank you. We excuse you from the meeting.
You were the young lady in the power chair yesterday?
No, that's Dr. Shannon.
Dr. Shannon?
Yeah.
Say that again.
I wasn't sure, I was here yesterday at DDS and I saw a woman from the back in the power chair. I wasn't sure that was you.
No, I am at home. I have like an old re-injury with my knee, so I'm sitting here with crutches and a brace. So
We've been working diligently from home.
Right now.
hey, I had to call in to support you guys. If nothing else.
Thank you
Thank
Yeah,
you.
for all your efforts.
So that's the first step. I will ask that any members, if they know people that work on establishing Wi-Fi information and setting up websites. And if they want, they could submit their names, because we have to submit 3 people, and we already had 3. But it couldn't hurt to have more information. Who do they submit it so that they can choose from? Who do they submit it to?
Do you either Donnie or myself?
Yeah. Just send it to my email. Phone.
I don't think I was gonna be, are we gonna be business here?
Okay, I'm moving on. That completes my report.
That's the new business too.
Okay, I don't know if Kenya's still listening, but the theme for the nickel is protect, persist, and prosper. She had asked that while she was speaking. All right, we're going on in the order of the agenda. Item number 8 is recruitment report by Brittany Tava, project manager.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brittany Turner, RSA project manager. I did talk to Mary Promoda on 2 days ago. And she is gonna reach out to Miss Angie, hopefully sometime this week, if she hasn't reached out to you yet. And then there was also 2 other individuals who applied for to be SILC members. The 2 other individuals, we haven't gotten in contact with them again since their application. So she is gonna reach out to them and see if there's still interest before trying to move forward with the appointment package. She did tell me that because we are getting a mirror change, that they are trying to wrap up some appointments now. Again, I don't know what order that they're doing it in, but she did tell me that that is the goal, to try to wrap up some of these, pending applications. So, that is the update. So at minimum, Angie should be moving forward soon. And then, if even better, those two other individuals, if they're still interested, they could be moving forward as well, because their application is complete. Again, just with the time, it can be easy to lose interest, and enthusiasm. So we just want to make sure that they're still interested.
May I ask you a question? Who contacted you?
Mary contacted me on, 2 weeks ago, but prior to that, I hadn't heard from her in months.
Well, that's promising, thank you.
Oh, I forgot to mention on my summary report that Miss Charlisa Payne has been promoted to,
She is I think she might be Randolph Shepherd supervisor.
Yeah, she is. She is who's the supervisor, Randolph.
Randolph Shepherd.
Randolph Shepherd.
What's Randolph Shepherd?
Randolph Shepherd is our blind vendor program,
And training.
and training. And so she is now the supervisor of the monitors, and overseeing that program for us here. Yeah.
And the person coming in her place is,
The person coming in her place, I cannot remember her name, but she retired and came
Cheryl
back.
Bolden.
Yes.
Cheryl Bolden.
Yes.
Who was previously Andy Receptor. What? Special assistant or whatever. Okay.
So once, Charlisa finishes her training, she will be the one that will arrange for our quarterly meetings and our contact.
Yeah, she will. Charlie's payroll?
No, Charlene is training her. She has a trainer.
Who is that person?
Cheryl Bolden,
That will be the new person
right.
that record.
That would be the new, DDS.
That will set up our meetings for us. And there was a question about the time setting effective for the next fiscal year. The time, will it still be 10 or 12?
No, it needs to go back to being 12 to 2. It's not that convenient for, well, I can ask you, do you prefer? Because we got time to think about it.
Well,
Because this is done annually.
I just.
And it's done, it was done by the director, I do the yes.
Okay.
Because it has to be sent to the Office of Administrative Services, and it has to be sent out annually and printed in the, DC Register. And so, at the last minute, they didn't know that we normally have our meetings from 12 to 2. And they had to change it, and she changed it. And when it went into publication, we stuck until the end of this fiscal year, which will be September the 30th.
Okay. So we're aiming to.
So, and now we want to ask if you have a preference in time. Right now, I just recommend that it go back to,
12 to 2.
12 to 2. But if anybody has a better time, they need to let us know now, because we would need to submit that information. So it'll be in the public, be published again. And it has to be, I think it has to be at least 4 to 6 weeks before.
As long as I
the end
have
of
notice, I can
September.
arrange, as long as we have notice, people can arrange the line. If it's not, if you don't have good notice, that's the only issue.
Well, a good notice is given out annually, and it's in the DC Register. And it's under the administrative issuances. It's offered by the district government.
Well,
And it's probably on the
3 to
DC.
5 would be a better thing, because we probably could get more people who are working that could be on the.
Well, whatever your recommendations are.
Yes. You know, I can say, it's, for me, it's just, do you have notice, but we may be able to get more people, because some people are working. If they can take a couple of hours off and become part of it.
Well, that was why we always did from 12 to 2, because that was that lunch hour.
Yeah,
But,
I'm thinking the same thing.
you can recommend any time. Just let us know.
Yeah, but you know, when the
So we
certain
can
things
take a
align,
vote on it.
when certain things align, you know, sometimes it's a lot of moving parts there.
Well, that's what happens during reorganizations because.
So we're gonna take a vote on that today?
No.
We'll bring it up 6 weeks prior to the end of the
Right.
fiscal year.
They'll bring it back up in August or something.
Okay.
Okay, on to item numbers.
Before August first.
Okay. On to item number 9, old business. Dr. Shannon Austin, do you have any old business you'd like to share?
I don't know if it's really old, but it's kind of. Are you guys gonna cover new business?
Yeah, or most of the new business has been covered.
No, I got new business.
She hasn't been.
I made a request in writing for it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I was just gonna talk through a couple things that we're doing over in our side that I wanted everyone to know. So whenever you get to new,
So we not
cover
on the
some.
new business yet. Are we
So
on
no,
new business?
no old business for me.
Okay, Kathy Fleming, you have old business? Miss Kathy Fleming at Anacostia Library? Kathy? Well, I did mention on her behalf that she did, her housing symposium is gonna be added onto the agenda for our youth combined symposium summit. She's gonna do it then, instead of having it at a separate time. Because she wasn't able to get a secure date. She hadn't heard from anybody, she couldn't wait that long, so she wanted to do something else about it. Okay, all right, now, Dr. Austin, for new business for RSA?
I'm sorry, I could this phone is not working properly. But as you had just said, Robin, yeah, we're gonna combine the housing with the consumer forum, the housing event. You already mentioned that.
Is the youth summit and consumer forum two different things or one thing?
It's together.
It's together. It's always been like that for years. The consumer forum and youth summit.
It usually has, equal amount of youth and equal amount of, youth. The youth portion is devoted to people that are aged 14 to 24. And it's based around education and employment. You know, those things. And then the forum is probably 24 and up. And the concentration is making life livable and easier for people with disabilities and recognizing your local resources and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what, and we have it at the same time because it's easier with the payment the 3 ways. And as I said earlier, I like the focus to be, I'd like the youth to focus also a little bit more on what will happen after you graduate from school. What opportunities are available. So we have to work on that. And then for the consumer forum, I would like to concentrate on the availability of mental resources that are free if possible, and activities to promote wellness.
Yeah,
and one of the concentrations.
but yeah,
in addition to the housing. So.
Yeah, because housing is still a really big issue with people with disabilities. 99.9% of people with disabilities coming to the center are homeless, and they are looking for housing.
Yeah, and then to concentrate on
based on the promise that was made during during Mary Bowser's tendency.
She'll still be, you know.
Is that in October?
Yes, right now we were looking at October 15th.
I'm trying to 22nd.
Or the 22nd. So we already talked about that.
Yeah.
So we have time, if anybody has any suggestions on the workshops they wanna help plan or whatever?
I like to suggest that we include in the workshops for the consumers, the results of the change with human services for the reduction of SNAP, trying to force people to go back to work.
That's why,
And those that have been cut off.
well, there could be also things that,
No, I'm just saying, could you hold on a second? This is for the agenda to go for our summit.
but also for the people, housing is the issue, because now the regime wants to have it so that, to force disabled people not to live with their family members. So that's the issue too.
Why? So they can easily get a place.
No, they're not doing it out of the goodness of that part. They're saying that they should not be eligible to get SSI because they live with their parents, like people with autism or intellectual disability.
That's been a long time.
Yes.
Rule that some places have followed. There are loopholes around that, and I know that because years ago, when I needed to be in a different environment, I was not eligible because I was still legally attached to, even though I was an adult, my parents.
I agree with all of that. I have disagreement. I'm just saying, there's things that there are people that are trying to check, they're changing these things now, where you got that, we're in a different world now.
So, but listen, what I would like to see, because we always talk about health, I would like to see resolution with these things that we bring up for the conference. And whatever, I would like to people to identify resources that will help them resolve this. So we may want to have panels, because DC and their housing programs is so divisive.
Yes.
And people don't know where to go for A, B, or C. So if people come in and listen to this, we want them to know that it'll be some type of resolution or some type of resource that they can contact when they leave.
I would just like to input as far as housing, but the ability to live independently and as far as, career pathways for individuals with disability to include some kind of AI component. Because I see, the tech world is advancing.
Some kind of free training or resource.
And there's something so that they won't be stopped. Oh, I need an assistant to do this. They can really be trained to do it themselves.
Yes.
I know.
Because a lot of people have worked for years and they don't know the resources.
And they
don't.
And they become,
And so that might be one of the things that.
they're not using their own ability that they become dependent on this. Cause this say, for instance, real quick, I know an individual, even though she has a psychology degree, she doesn't work at it, she's her son caregiver, he's IDD and both those. But she has, what do you call it, take away his personal ability? She has hindered his growth. Even though he was in Kennedy Institute, blah, 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 and you're a COPD veteran, but you hindering your 42-year-old child when you're gone, he's someone, you can get hold of age. No, I got that though, not to make it funny, it's freaking pattern, he's right. Yes. But she has hindered him to the point, it's frustrating, whereby in the Federal Church, I was saying LGBT church, this woman, she trained her son, he's the same way. But his speech is improved, he lives by himself, he's very cold, independent. So it can, he's a witness, he's a living witness.
Alzheimer's syndrome.
That it can be done.
Yeah.
So that's why I said that AI component, so they will be independent of some things and be confident in it.
So that means we can look forward to you working on helping us with the workshop. Because we have to have resolution too, we just not gonna keep talking about it. But,
Yes, Patty.
Based on what you just said, and I had this thought a little bit earlier, is what would make sense to me is let's start, who wants to work on the youth symposium and start a group?
oh, that would be good.
And maybe we say who who's here who wants to work on that? And then they can set a meeting, and that's when that work starts, which doesn't take up all our time here. But there's a group doing that, and I'm willing to volunteer if, in that.
I understand.
I'll be on your.
Okay. Yvonne, okay,
I
for
wanna-
your new business?
Yeah, new business. I wanted to, talk for a minute about the changing.
You want the mic?
Yes,
We can pass it down.
I don't know if it's on. Did I shut it off? I don't know.
no, it's not on.
It's not on.
Testing, testing.
It's usually on the side. Can you hear me in the other room?
You know, it may have died.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay.
they use
Yeah.
that. What I wanted to say is there's some changes that are happening, happening in 2027, but people need to be aware of them, and these changes are around SNAP and Medicaid, and they have to do with the work requirements. The work requirements, even though I hate to say this, but I can only do this very stop I have to leave a little bit. Is even if a person is paralyzed,
So no
Yeah.
matter what the disability.
well, what I'm working with DDS. In other words, many people get Social Security or VA benefits. So they have a letter, or they can get a copy of a letter, but it might take them 30 days to get it. But there are other people who are disabled, but they're not disabled to the point that they have that documentation. There are people who are like me. No, like but there's age requirements, so you might be exempt because of age, but they still sending me the letter. However, there's a paperwork trap that they have. So they're requiring people to do that, and they have until, I think it's, June 1, the states have to come with a plan of how they're gonna, document that, because for SNAP and for Medicaid, they go down to I don't like to use the word welfare office, but they go down there and there's renewal. And also, depending on your age and circumstance, you might not have to do that for 3 years. But for the work requirements, it's every 6 months. Now, I know for a fact, because I've written 8 articles about it, and I've sent it out for people that can check the articles. Some states had started this before the big beautiful bill, like Arkansas and Oklahoma, and they were having people report monthly and digitally. And for me, district direct is not friendly. I'm not a computer nerd, but I'm good with that. I started the application for renewal. It's very complex and detailed. If you don't do this right, they'll have you come back in circles. You have to have all your documents so you can upload it. And so I wanted to know if DDS is going to do something for certification for people who are not in that situation. And also that we should be somehow letting our partners know that even if a person feels as though they're disabled, they still may have to have that proof. And they're already in another stakeholder group that I'm part of on mental health. They're already estimating tens of thousands of people are going to be thrown off of Medicaid. Many people may not realize that they're not on SNAP, so they go to the grocery store and they will have a basket full of groceries and find out that they didn't do their thing because they assume, oh, I've been getting this for years. I don't work. I take care of my aunt or son, but they have to, it's the paperwork stuff that is going to get people in a trap. So, and I want to land my plane and say that I'll send out to you, I've written like 8 articles on it, and DC, we have to know what DC is going to do for the people in between and what will be accepted. Yes, Robin.
Yeah, thank you, Yvonne. I called directly to Human Services, and because I kept getting the letter, and she said, well, Robin, you have nothing to worry about because of your age. You're still listening.
They did it because they have to.
Okay, listen. I'm 69 years old. She said, because you're over 65 and you are still disabled, even though your what it says on my benefit letter, it still says disabled. I had to make sure it added disabled in there for different reasons. So anyway, she explained it to me and she said those that are 62 and under have to bring in proof. They can get a waiver to do the process of the paperwork for wavering, and that's from 60, under 62. So you may have
That's
to
not
go.
what the letter says. The letter says.
I know, but I spoke to the,
59, okay, just the letter, two different things.
I know,
No,
that's
it's
why,
the
that's
same
why I
thing.
called her, that's why I have to call her to get the clarity of it. So then they said, now they're saying 59. See, there's a problem with the letter, and when you call them and speak to their specialists. You see what I'm saying? That's a problem.
That's never worked. When you
Yeah.
call, I mean, you can never trust, if you call DHS and they tell you that has no bearing on what will happen
And
if
you
you
can't
go
never
there.
get anything.
I've been doing that for decades.
What's your, yes.
There was,
One last thing, I know the big beautiful bill is very controversial, as it is. But you know, the problem with this is that the government, United States government hasn't really had great services in a very long time. They've been depleting them for a very long time. And we don't have enough housing units for everyone to have federal
We
funding.
know all of this. We know all of this.
There are people
We have 10
who
minutes.
are having housing, who are capable of working and providing productivity.
Yeah, but we're not.
Do so. They're very comfortable.
Look, I brought the subject up, the question, I understand
They're
what
not
you,
the
what you're
same.
saying, I wanna do, what is this right now? In this right now, the purpose is not to help people. The purpose is to get the $1 trillion that they are having to pay for other people's tax breaks. They want people to not to do the paperwork, so they can just, they will just be off because they didn't do the paperwork. And they're not suggesting that we get clarity. I'm suggesting that you feel that we should get clarity, but the thing is, you need to bring that, we don't want this to turn into excuse my language, a bitch fest. We want the people to have a solution of where they should go, or actually who they should contact to have something done. What I'm saying is that listed with the knowledge. No, listen to me. And we can't have a workshop, we can't have a workshop on everything, but you know that we have exhibits all the time. So we always have space for 15 exhibits. So we can probably invite people from different agencies that can resolve from housing finance and the people that approve stuff. We need to know what is acceptable documentation. That's all I'm asking. I'm not saying. Well, what I'm saying is there are other ways. There's community engagement. But that's only one little
Housing
piece
is a
of it.
disability. That housing isn't even in this same discussion. This is Medicaid and SNAP.
I'm not saying anything about that. He's saying.
Excuse me, this can't be flippant. So we could have them as a vendor.
Paperwork or lack of paperwork, because what they will say is that you could tell me that you're that, but you didn't give us the proper documentation. I'm just saying we need clarity about what will be acceptable documentation, not just for disability, but for the other areas, for the community engagement, things like that. So what will FCC accept? Go to the city council or arrange with the city council to find out when the committee will address that. The city council doesn't address it. That's housing finance and the people for SNAP. Because they have to submit things to the feds by it's June 1st. They have to also discuss everything in the city council.
Have the plan of
You
how
can't
they're
talk
gonna do
about
it.
national. Correct.
So there will be a plan after June 1st. So my
Correct.
thought is,
And remember, this is in
when
October.
we see what their plan is, then we figure out, okay, if that's what your plan, that plan should include some of that information. And it has to be approved by the feds.
Okay, great. Now
That's
that Yvonne said what she would say, and I agree, that's great. I think that, you know, in order to prove 80 hours of work in Vermont, people with the documents, disability, there are incentives, like you said, 59, 69, the only thing is due diligence fee, you know, is there.
Between SSI and what you're talking about, the SSI has a standard for SSI. is.
It's all, okay.
There is absolutely no job you're capable of doing. That's much harder and different than what qualifies you for
I disagree.
SSD.
I disagree.
But that's the law.
Because let me say this real quick. I think SSDI and SSI.
We also have one, we have to hear from one other person and we have announcements.
But I was working.
We can't resolve any of that right now.
Yeah, we only got
We're
7
moving on.
I-
Excuse me, Dr. Shannon, would you like to address the new business?
Because we only got 7 minutes left.
Yeah, that's it.
So I'm just gonna give you guys just a quick update on we're about to have our kickoff meeting concerning the community statewide need assessment. So this is a 3-year cycle that we're looking at data on things that we need to address here in the district, and Brittany Tarver is taking the lead on that. So we may need you guys' help because we've added additional focus group, and we want to try to get a better understanding of individuals that don't access services within RSA. So excited about that. And then we just launched our aspiring professional program that we have. We currently are trying to get up to 30 people. I think we have had maybe 22 that have went through the background checks. So this is to get individuals placed into positions where they're working for 6 months within DC government to so they can have a work opportunity within the district for employment. We've added a new caveat with putting job readiness on the front end, that they're going to be required to do that. So that's a new launch. And then we also recently received the NEON grant. So we had it 3 years prior to this. And the cycle, we did receive it, and it's focused on those with co-occurring disabilities or mental health issues, and retention with employment. And with that grant, we get technical support of, I want to say, 650 hours over the next 2.5 years with subject matter experts to focus on how we're going to increase that. So with that, we're going to employer engagement, expanding on our ISP, and how we're placing people with DBH into employment services. So we're excited and for people to understand their benefits. So that kind of goes back to what you were talking about, DHS and those being moved from SNAP and TANF a little bit. So, some of that's going to be covered as part of the NEON grant. So that's my quick update, and I thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Shannon. Ms. Ivy Wood, your mentions or suggestions for the bylaws?
They were just little, like I said, little general statements that just made it sound a little more formalized. For instance, section name. The name of the council shall be the District under Statewide Independent Living Council, here and after refer as bill.
So can you just send us copies of what you're talking about?
I did. I sent it to everyone.
Yeah, but the thing was, we didn't get it. When I looked
It
at
was
it,
not attached.
it wasn't
It was
attached.
down in the body.
It wasn't attached.
Okay.
All it is your mention, and you said see attached, but that's, we only got your,
There's a
Your
reason,
method.
check it and resend. If
So-
you can resend it by the next Friday, that you said what day of that was.
the 29th. Can you,
Okay.
Yeah, because I sent it on the 30th to
Well,
everyone.
can I make a suggestion? Don't take it from that email, because it's a run-on email with other people attached to your
Yeah,
name
that's
in.
probably.
Can you send us a new email?
I can, but I mean, I sent it separately. It says, Dr. Johnson, thank you for sharing the
Well,
bylaw.
we don't have time to look for that, I'm just gonna say.
Right. But I
Just
said,
go resend it, please.
But we're saying send it to Denise.
okay.
Address it, yeah. Because right now Damon's on vacation, he's not gonna be back until.
Well, we're trying to get everything done.
Yeah.
And make sure that it's included, your ideas included. So that we can, because we want the bylaws approved redone, approved, and back out to you and before our next meeting.
And who will give clarity among those people who don't have, that have a disability that might think they're exempt? Will DDS, be a person that they can go to have them certified that they're disabled? That's my question, because there are people that are in the la land, you know.
Well, in the District of Columbia, you get to go through the council for things.
The other
You should
issue
go
is,
to the council for things, because without the council and the mayor, that's where everything starts, the policies and things start there. You keep saying it's federal, but that's the federal law, but in order to, how you gonna put in,
Right.
how you gonna promote the federal
Okay, I
law?
just want you,
You.
they
when
have
the council-
oversight, the council
Yes.
has oversight on the people who
For
are
the District of
accepting the documentation.
So each state is different, each policy is different. You don't know how much of it is based on the state or the federal law. And you don't, because they have block grants and all kinds of stuff like
No,
that.
I'm not saying that, I'm saying that.
I'm saying that we don't make that
Submit to HHS.
and then you go to the council in the district. We don't have congressional people. Go to the council.
Okay, all right.
They have a council,
Just
committee
remember I
on
brought this
human
up.
services.
That's all I'm saying. Just remember I brought this up because
Well,
people that.
this is the term for election. People are having town halls, take it to them.
They're stupid. They're still.
I don't have enough, I can't make.
We are
the
still
statements in.
recording. We're still recording. What I wanted to say is,
Okay. Are there any announcements?
are there any new announcements by?
My only announcement is, you know that the District of Columbia is having voting season. We have so many people ready to vote. And they actually have training sessions on this run-on vote style.
Great voting.
Best thing is
Right. So what people should do is take part in being a district citizen.
Right.
and do the right choice voting.
Right.
Some people are telling them not to
And get
just
this
vote for one
And
person.
ask
Right.
questions.
Bring Tara Hoot number 2 after.
Yeah, and ask questions. And on that note, the meeting is adjourned.
I second it.
Okay.